Hello everybody, this is Rhea, Passionate Paper Creations, and I am going to do a Conie Fong image here and probably do it in 2 stages and maybe 3. We're going to do the skin first, then we're going to do hair, and then I'll probably finish it up and do a little bit of I'll do the flowers, the dress, and the background in the 3rd video. So 3 videos. We're going to do everything one step at a time and take our time, enjoy, sit back, and relax. I always color everything light, dark, medium, light. For skin tones, I am going to start with my skin tones are going to be E50, 51, 21, 11, 13, and 04. These 2 here are one or the other. You can use either 13 or 04. You can use them both. I will decide once I dive in and where I'm going to go, and I'm either going to decide at the end for drop shadows and cast shadows whether I'm going to use BV 20, 23, or BV 01. So you want to write these colors down, and when I color, I'm going to start with the lightest color, and I'm going to work my way back, and I'll walk you through it. Usually my darkest colors, 13 and 04, I'll go 50 and then 11 and then 21, 51, and then I'm going to add in some dark colors. I find that the darker colors blend in easier, but we'll just play with it and see how it goes. So I've got all my markers ready to go right here, and I am left-handed, and I am going to turn my paper as I go. It makes it easier for me. I am not going to speed up the video, and that's why we're going to take it one step at a time. I like to color in the shadow areas first. She is facing more so this direction, so the light source, this part of her face, is going to be the lightest. I'm going to color the shadow areas first. So starting with E50. Let's see if that gets into the camera here. Side of my marker, and there goes Tucker. Sorry about that. Up through the hairline. I want to place a nice little coat, even coat, kind of mapping where my colors are going to go. 13 and 4 I'm going to kind of set aside. Now I'm going to go with E11 and start building some of the shadows. My left arm, I have weakness in the left side of my body, So, and my left arm does shake a little bit. Not because I'm nervous, it's just a neurological thing. You'll want to find out which way you flick more comfortably. And the way to do that is to, on your paper, put your pen straight up and down, flick away from yourself. That makes good grass. Flick towards yourself. Flick to the left. Flick to the right. And find out which way you are more comfortable. I've learned over time to kind of do it in all directions, but I am more comfortable definitely coming towards myself. I do a lot of straight line blending, meaning taking straight lines and working from there instead of flicking out. You can still blend them as long as you have a nice base coat. It's 11. $21. She has a little bit of shadow under her nose. Bottom lip is going to cast a shadow. $51 is next. I'm using Copic Express It paper. Back to 50. Now I'm going to deepen some of these shadows here. Hairline. I want to deep set the eyes. The artist has given us where the shadow is going to go for the nose. I'm going to skip 11, go straight to 21. I just used 13, and I'm lightly sweeping that out and blending. I've got enough ink down here that everything is rather self-blending. You can see the depth starting to create. Back to 51. Pulling and blending the color right on the paper. Now with E04, we can set those eyes just a little bit further. Doesn't take much. Back to 21. I'm going to blend that up. Blend that down. Very lightly. Very light touch here. I'll decide what I want to do with the face there in a minute. Now I'm going to move over to this section, the forehead. And with 50, I'm starting over. And now I'm going to come down this way. Now, I see something here that I want to correct. I'm going to take 50 and blend that just a little bit, lighten it up. So with 11, because I need this light to be lighter, I'm probably not really going to use a lot of 13. Definitely not going to use any 04. Because the shadow isn't falling there. $21. $21 helps to bridge 11 and 51. Back to 50. A little bit more pressure on 50. back over that, soften that whole look there. Now let's come over to this side of the face. Finish the nose up later. Copic expressive paper is pretty forgiving and very easy to work with and to blend with. Ay, ay, ay. 11. Still want to define her cheek underneath her eye. And her jawbone. I want to bring this down. We're going to add a second coat on the eye to add some depth. And again with 21, blend that up into the eyebrow, down into the cheek. Each side of the nose has depth. .51, blending those colors out. Just going to go back and forth on that. .51. 50, I'm going to blend and highlight the tip of the nose. I want her to have a very soft look. Now I like using E93, E93 on the cheeks. We're using a lot of E's. Believe it or not, all the E's that we use in the colors, this will blend them all together for very soft, pink hue without it's just light enough to where it just helps to take any blotchiness, and then I take my 51, kind of blend the corners out just a bit. And back with 50 into the light areas, going back and forth. That will push the colors now. I am going to set her eyes. Eyes are a window to the soul. And we want them to have as much depth as possible. This is E04. E93. That will blend that out nicely. A little bit more. Natural looking. Okay. Now lips. I'm going to use the same colors, but I'm going to start with E04. Once again, I got to get right up in here. And come up underneath the top lip. It's going to cast a shadow. The light source is coming from this direction. Basically going to draw a line and a shape. Just like, looks like she has a tooth. We will solve that problem. Now with E93, a subtle highlight. I didn't really get the shine I wanted. Could always go back in with a gel pen. But you know what? Matte lipstick is really popular right now, so. I don't usually like doing this. I like to try to leave it natural and leave white when I colored, but I kind of goofed that up. So I'm going to give her, I think, let's say, kind of a blue-purple eye. So I'm going to use 60s because I was going to use 60s in the dress, B60s. So this is literally B60. Do a base coat. And then with 69, '63, a little shadow on this side. You want the shadows on the eyes to be in the same spot. So that they're equal. I'm going to go back to the dark. fine line on the outside. $63. Now, with C1, just to take some of the white, I'm going to come down across the bottom and the top. I really want to deep set her eyes. C5, very fine line. C3, blend that out, go over the top of that C5. You're adding depth to her eyes. Then I'm going to blend the edges. But I'm not going to take the C1 into the iris part, because I don't want the C1 is so light it will displace, it will act like a blending marker and displace the color of the B60s that I used. If I want to really add a little bit of depth, I could take my gray marker, my gray multi-liner, and make a defined line right under the lid. And that will really set her eyes deeper. Now we can move on to the body. And I like to do this in a flicking motion. I'll come up here, there's going to be a shadow from her arm. Her back is going to be fairly light, just because that's where the sun is shining. Going in the same direction as I color in the shadows. Coming down. All my strokes are going in the same direction. With 11. Remember, I flick better towards myself. I need a nice thin flick. Of 11 coming up this way. Make sure I get in between these areas, and then I will turn her around. I want to stay in the lines. Okay, 21. Her shoulder over here is going to be a little shadowed from the chin. 51. Notice I'm going over the colors so that they blend nicely. No biggie here. Just making sure I get a nice blend. Back to 50. A little bit more pressure with the 50. Lighter pressure with the darker colors. More pressure with the lighter colors. Now to do her, I'm going to let this dry where I went into the flower area so that I can use my I'll leave the chest area pretty simple. It's going to be a little bit more shadowed. And this time I'm going to flip this direction. And because it's going to be more shadowed, I am going to bring in 13. That was 11. $13. A little 4 in the corner. Now I'm going to bring in 21. Flick all of those colors together, blend them right on the paper. $51. Push, sweep those colors out. And I am going to end with 51. Now this part should be dry. Blending marker pushes, displaces, and erases, and it works best when the ink is actually dry. It works the very best on light colors. Reds, forget about it. Greens, good luck. I see an area here we've got to do. Cast shadows. Blend that out with 51. Okay. So I think I'm going to go with try BB 20. It won't come out of my case. Come on. All right. I'm not going to worry about the hair. It's going to come, we're going to color over it. This is still going to have a shadow. Even though the light is coming from this direction, we need to bring these flowers and the hair on top of the face. That's still going to cast a shadow on top of the face. This shoulder is on top of the neck. as is that. Just adding a little dimension. Now, on the darker side, I went to BV23. Because I used darker colors. Now I'm going to take 51. Blend that out a little bit. I'm looking at that kind of grayed out a little bit here, so let's really add some contrast. Go with 23 on the shadow. And blend it out with 51. Just go for it. Blending some of that gray out of there. Make it look a little bit more natural. Sometimes you just got to play with it and see what you get. Now I'm taking 51 and I'm blending that 11 down and out. Awesome. Notice all my strokes went the same direction. Back to 50. Once we're done with this 23 will disappear once you add other colors with it. And like the dress, the florals, it will become a more of a shadowy look. Right now it's just kind of bam in your face. So it's a process. And again, okay, I think we're done with the face. Zoom in.